Send me an email there. I'll have to talk to the Blackboard team.
Okay.
Did you register late?
No. I think yes. And Rakita and Jan is
The section?
classes to Wednesday classes.
Email me, then I'll have to talk to them. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, guys, good morning. Welcome to 8 o'clock class. But it's summer, so you'll be done early, right? My name is Anju Chawla, and I will be teaching you Introduction to Python Programming during the semester. So it's an intro course. I understand this is your first programming course in CSCN. So I'll go slow and steady, right? So because I'm assuming, okay, how many of you do have some programming experience? Oh, not bad. That's not bad. Which is good. So you can help your peers if you like. When I say help, help means just help, right? Not sharing assignments anymore. So for students who have some programming experience, this course will really be easy because it's really an intro course. The emphasis is that I teach you a language as if you were in kindergarten. This was your first language, right? And that's why it's called Intro to Python Programming. There are different paradigms in programming. You have procedural programming, object-oriented programming, functional programming, logic programming, and the part that I'll be teaching you is procedural programming in Python. Towards the end, only towards the end, maybe a week, maybe half a lesson, we'll be talking about object-oriented programming, right? And what is procedure? Procedure just means the procedures, the steps to be done. So as I said, since it is an intro course, the aim is to teach you a programming language and why Python was chosen for a few reasons. One, you can see right on here, you can see that Python is sitting at number 4 right now, according to the index of programming languages. They keep changing. Java and C kind of take the first 2 places, usually always, they interchange. And I've opened a site called tiof.index. So usually this will tell you where programming languages are right now. So they do it every month. So things change, not a lot, but we've been seeing this, that if you notice, you see some greens and some reds. Red means it has gone down, green means it has gone up, and double greens means, oh, it went quite a bit. So Python is sitting at position 4, which is a very good position. So you can assume that it is one of the first 10 languages that are popular. And it was very popular a few decades back, maybe a couple of decades back, and we used to teach it in our programming courses, right? So as if you're not aware, the college runs programming courses, they run networking courses, and then we run web courses. And then of course there is the security and the RAP and so on. But these are the 3 undergraduate courses that we run. And Python was used as an introductory language in COPA, the programming stream a few decades back, maybe 10 years back, I should say, not a few years back. We changed to Java because we kind of run a Java stream in that programming languages, right? So we thought it would be better to introduce students to Java so that they have something before they come to their second course and a little better when they come to their third course. That was the idea of changing it. So I have taught Python for a while, for a few years, because I used to teach programming fundamentals to those students when Python was there. And of course, it changed to Java and we've stuck to Java. So we've chosen Python 1 because it is easy. It's not a tough language, right? And 2, the emphasis is not to make professional programmers out of you. Understand that. They're not trying to make professional programmers out of you. They're trying to teach you a language so that when you go out in the real world and do your set of skills, your networking, you're aware of a language. And Python is used quite often, right? That doesn't mean, oh, if I know Python, I know nothing else. To be very truthful, if you know one programming language, it's very easy to kind of jump to another programming language and understand what it is doing. There are basically three pillars of programming. Sequence, how you write it, decision-making statements, what do I do, and looping statements, how many times do I do. That's the three things to be learned in any language. So Python has again taken momentum. I've seen it at a good position now. It was kind of 10-ish, between 10 and 20, maybe last year, but it has taken momentum. And so Python was introduced last semester into the CST course. Right? It's not a tough language, and my aim is not to make it tough for you. Right? So because I'm a programmer basically, my master's is in programming applications. So I'm basically a hardcore programming application programmer. That's what I am. But for you guys, I'll try to keep it simple and not expect too much from you. But still, that doesn't mean that you go away and do whatever you like. You will learn good and correct ways of programming. So your foundation will be strong, so that when you have to learn in future more programming languages or more of Python, you know that this is the right way to do things, right? So that will be the aim. The aim will be that I need you to do things efficiently and correctly. Maybe not at a professional level, but not at a name level. I want you somewhere in between, somewhere in intermediate, so that you can rise up and do the right things right from day one. So when I emphasize something and I bring it to your notice, please keep it in mind, right? Because I'm expecting you to give me the same when you do your assignments. Okay? So anytime you have any difficulty understanding the language and it seems odd or different, please don't feel shy. If you're shy and don't want to ask in class, there are office hours. I'll walk you through my blackboard and you will know where and how to meet me and when and how to ask me questions. I'm relatively very good with emails. Usually you will have an email back from me in one business day. And if I'm in my office and I'm on my computer, then you'll have it immediately, right? So I'm good on my email. My phone is not working right now. I have no clue why. I put in a request yesterday. So it would be best to, anyway, it would be best to contact me through email.
So there you are. You know why Python is chosen as a language for you. Java, C, and C++ are a little heavy for you guys, right? Because you're doing CSTN, you are not programmers as per se. You don't want to be programmers. You chose a different field. And for you, Python is a good language. And it doesn't mean that Python is only for networking students. Python can be used all over, like all over. You can write hardcore programs with it. You can write good games with it. Not very good. C++ is more for a gaming language. You could write games with it. You could be writing a small script to do something like extracting data from a file, extracting data from a database, sorting a number of files, doing that stuff that is so time consuming if you do it manually, but becomes easy when you do it programmatically. Okay, so the aim is to make you understand Python, see its uses, teach you a language that will help you in the long run of your career. But that's not the end of it. It's the big thing, right? It's just a beginning. So it's an intro course, and the aim is that you know what you are doing, and you will not be able to learn all the tasks that Python can do, but you will learn many tasks that Python can do. Which means that if you know A, B, you know you should be able to figure out C, is the whole thing, right? That's how you learn. So nobody can teach you everything in 14 weeks. It's impossible. Even I don't know all of Python. It keeps changing. New things keep coming. Like books, right? New books keep coming in the library. New material keeps coming. You have new websites. You have new people writing blogs. And you have to read them all. You have to keep up to date. News changes every day. And as you know, computer science is a field which changes every minute. So you can't expect, oh, she didn't teach me this, can do that, right? Because maybe it was not there when it was. I had just loaded Python maybe, I don't know, maybe last year, and now I had to change it to a version that was more newer. So things change, right? So you have to keep changing too. You can't assume that 2 years in college is done. I'm done. I'm a network specialist. It's not that. It won't work that way. There are many things that I don't know in my field because it changes every time. But I learn, right? I learn. I learn what I need to learn. And that's what you will do. Depending upon the type of work you get, you will learn and you will become efficient in your own field. Okay. So I've been teaching since, I don't know, 88, I think, 1988. I taught for 13 or 14 years back in India. My education is from India, from a prestigious university in India. I did my graduation in statistics and then my post graduation in computer applications. I taught for a few years there and then we decided to immigrate to Canada. And I've been here since 2001, and this was the first job interview I took. I got in, I never looked back. So I love to teach. Teaching is my passion, and I would like to transfer my passion to you guys. That's the aim. So please learn with an open mind. And if you have difficulties or problems with anything regarding my course, please free to come and see me. Right? Ask in class, come and see me in my office hours, email me, discuss your problems with me, whatever helps you. Whatever helps you is the aim. But the main thing that you have to keep in mind in my class for sure, you will work honestly, right? Honestly and individually, and you will show me what you know. I'm not interested in what your friend knows. All of you have other commitments. Some of you work, some of you are single mothers, parents, whatever it is. All of us have something going on in our lives. But attending classes will help you. Reading before you come to class will be a big bonus. You've already read a chapter, it won't even take you an hour to read a chapter. I teach it in class, I do something in class. I'm not going to read the chapter for you. You understand it, you had some doubts when you read it, you ask, you reiterate, and you're ready to go. 3 hours in class, maximum 3 hours outside class, and you can do wonders in this class because it's a simple course, right? It's a very simple course. But let me make it very clear, all assignments, all tests, all in class assignments, all take home assignments are individual unless specifically specified that you can work with the partner. You're not going to share your work, you're not going to cheat, you're not going to take work from the internet and say it's my own. If I find this, definitely there are some procedures and policies in the college. The first instance, you get a 0 in the work, assignment, or exam. Second, you get 0 in the course. And third, you're out of the college for 8 months. It's not worth it. Believe me, it's not worth it. If you have working hours, please try to work around my class. Don't miss my classes. But of course, attendance is not compulsory. If there is an in-class assignment and we do it and you're not here, it's a 0, right? But again, situations can arise. There can be an emergency. You get sick. There is something going on. Beforehand, before the class, you let me know. You give me a proof of, oh, I have a doctor's appointment or there is a driving test that I have to take that I can't reschedule, and I'll accommodate you. But otherwise, it's as strict as if you are going to a job. You go to a job, you do your job, you do it well, and you're paid well. And here your payment is your marks. So no cheating, no sharing. Discussion, yes, but there is a limit. Draw your lines of how you can discuss. Come and discuss with me. I know where to draw a line. Discuss it with your friends, but discussion doesn't mean cheating, copying, give me your work, I'll just look at it. Nothing doing. You help, you are penalized. The person who's taking help is penalized. And I don't want to get into all this. Please keep in mind, if you don't attend classes, you cheat, you fail in the course, all that money that you were accumulating or trying to go to do a job, you have to put it again back into the same course. So what was the use? There is no use. I try to explain to my students, you're doing a job for a living, that's good enough. You don't attend classes, that's up to you. But then you resort to cheating because you have to pass the course. And then it ends up in getting a 0 in the course sometimes, failing the course, and that all that money and time and effort that you put in the job is back. You have to pay. And especially international students pay a lot, right? So why waste money and why waste your time? It's 3 hours in a week. Maybe you take 5 classes in a week, 15 hours. You still have enough time to work on it. So take it seriously and you will do well, right? If you are lazy and that's what your attitude is, then I don't know you. I don't care. But if your attitude is here to learn, to study, I'm with you, right? You will always have my help, always. The aim is to give my knowledge to you. Whatever I have, I give it to you. And I'm very serious about it. I'm a serious educator and I want you to be serious students. And as I said, if you don't care, I don't care, right? It's your money. So Python is a good language to learn. Java, C, and C++ are better, as you see, but they are different class of languages, more of programmers languages. Here we are trying to teach network technicians or network guys a language that will help them. So more like a scripting language is what it is, right? And it does have a procedural flavor and an object oriented flavor. In today's world, all languages are object oriented. That's how they work. But again, our aim is not to make professional programmers out of you. Our aim is to make professional networkers out of you. So for that part, Python in how we are teaching it is good enough. Maybe in the long run, maybe after 2 semesters, a couple of years, we find, oh, you know what, we can introduce another Python programming language course, and we will. But right now, this is the only programming course that runs. Started last semester, so it's new. It's new for me too, for CSTN students, and therefore it will take me time as to, oh, what do I want to do with these students, right? Because it is different of how you teach CSTN students and how you teach programmers. But there is a difference because the aim is different, right? So whenever you want to find out, oh, what's going on, where is Python sitting, am I learning a good language, is it useful for me, am I wasting my time, always go and look up. We all know Google is our best friend, right? Try to look for top 10 languages used in networking and stuff like that. I just open up this because it's just a site that I know about, and you'll see that they kind of give you the first 50 languages. So the first 20 they assume is good. It's good to know the first 20 where they stand. And then you will see there are others they have listed here, and they kind of, I think, go on till 50. So there's some language which maybe you haven't even heard of, which is okay. It's not a big thing. We used to teach Haskell a few years back, but notice it's sitting at 48 now. We don't teach it anymore. So we keep the course up to date. You should be aware that your course is always up to date. So there are languages here. COBOL is sitting at 28. COBOL is a mainframe programming language. Again, we taught it for 10 years because there was a dearth of people who could do COBOL in the programming world. There were very few people. We taught it for 10 years, and now since a couple of years, we've made it optional. So if you would like to be a mainframe programmer, we say, okay, go ahead and learn COBOL. But if not, then that's fine. So it was in the top 20 a few years back because nobody knew COBOL in the sense, they were the old guys, the old generation that did COBOL, and now they were retiring, and the new generation is not so keen on working on mainframes, though it's a good one. So here are your first 20 languages. You needn't be concerned with all of them, but your focus is Python, which is sitting at quite a good place, right? Which is sitting at quite a good place. And again, Python for you is not from A to Z. It could be maybe from A to F. You know what I mean? So we are just doing introductory Python. But as I said, once you have the right foundation, you can do it, right? It's as easy as that. You learn how to bicycle, you can drive a car. If you learn how to drive a car, you'll try to maybe fly an aeroplane. So that's how it goes. That's how it goes. It's your confidence, it's your foundation that will take you up. So my aim is to teach you whatever I can to the best of my ability. But the expectation is that you do your job, right? And your job is take it in, revise, repeat, ask, and keep working on it. It's a language. It's not literature that you read and say, oh, I read a book. It can't happen that way. You'll have to write programs and test them, implement them, find what's the problem, and then reiterate, try them again, make them better, so on and so forth. That's how the programming world works. But it's a piece of art on one side, because how you do it, how you write, with 20 students I'm teaching, I'll have 20 different programs doing the same job. So it's an art, but it is also a science, because it's logical. You have to think about it. What are the steps I should do? What is the sequence that I need? And so on and so forth. Okay? So the onus is on you. Entirely up to you. I'm doing my job and I'll do it to the best of my ability. Right? Okay, so here is just why you are doing Python. For your information, hopefully it is working. Looks like it is. It says live. I will be recording my lessons on YouTube. You can find me on YouTube by my name, Anju Chawla. And all my lessons that I do here will be recorded, and you can find them under COMP1099. That's your course code. Summer S18, because it's summer of 18, and Wednesday is your section, right? So you'll be able to find that all my videos will go into a playlist, so they'll all be together. So look for a playlist by that name. Not so tough to remember, but if you like, I'll put it on Blackboard. So you can find me on YouTube by my name, search by my name, and you should have it under your course code, summer 18, S18, and Wednesday. I teach 2 sections, so there will be a Tuesday and there will be a Wednesday. The class promptly will start at 8 every time. I would expect you to be here at 8 every day, right? Things can happen. Traffic can be heavy sometimes. 10 minutes here or there doesn't matter, but please make it a practice to come to class on time, and I'll do the same. Okay? Same expectations. I'm not expecting something from you and not doing it. It's always both ways. So all classes will be recorded on YouTube. One of you, if you like, can check if it is live right now.
It's live right now.
It's live right now? Okay, thank you for confirming that. Okay. So it is live because I'm presenting to everyone. So for some reason, if you're really sick and you love the class and you don't want to miss it, it will be presented and you can always sit at home and listen to it. That doesn't mean that, oh, that's how I will learn Python. It's not an online course. It is not an online course. And in-class assignments can be given on the fly. They will have marks, could be 1%, 2%, 5, 10, really doesn't matter. There are no announcements for in-class assignments. It's up to you, entirely up to you. You want to come and attend classes, you're most welcome to. You are putting in the money. It's your time, it's your work. My aim is that I come here, I give you my best, and I expect you to finish this semester feeling good about it, right? The rest is all up to you. All up to you. But think about it. Putting time in class is always beneficial. You can always earn, work, get money outside the class in different times. You may have to sleep a little less. You may have to party a little less, but you're here, and some of you from all over the world. Don't waste your time. Okay? Okay, so let's walk you through Blackboard. My Blackboard is not that big right now because, as I said, I'm teaching the course for the first time. And as the time passes by, folders will get filled up. You will see assignments coming up. You will see weekly learning coming up and so on. Okay. So as I do, my aim is hands-on. All of us want hands-on. We don't want to listen to anybody. So I'll just kind of walk you through as to what I'm going to use. And after the break, we'll embark on starting straight away. We'll start doing our first program straight away today. Could be very small, but we'll do it so that you have the feel of it. How many of you were able to install Python on your laptops? There was an announcement on Blackboard. Can I see longer ones? Okay, if not, good. Most of you have. The other ones were either lazy or don't care. I don't want that attitude, please. It takes 5 minutes. The downloads were right here. It was mentioned where it was. All you had to do was download it and install it. Okay. So I welcome you all with an open heart. I'm open to criticism as long as that criticism is healthy. Please don't bitch behind anybody's back. Try to work with your peers. Try to work with me. I have certain rules. I have certain discipline that I need to follow. And if that works for you, good. If it doesn't work for you, you still have to get through it. So work with me. Okay. Under course information, you will find that the official course outlines are available on the web. You're most welcome to take a printout if you want, or save it for future reference if you like, if you want to change colleges or whatever, whenever you need it. I don't know. This is your official document. So it's up on the web. As you see, there are no prereqs, no coreqs, no equivalents, because it's a new course. It was just introduced in the winter. The description says students are introduced to the Python programming language. So introduced. Emphasis is put on automating networking and operating system tasks, because that's what your aim is, right? Because you're networkers, the aim is that you work with networking and operating systems and so on, and that's where the aim will be. Students learn about interfacing, working with databases, file operations, regular expressions, and object-oriented programming. May seem Greek right now. As days go by, it will make more sense, right? Learning outcomes: describe functions, lists, dictionaries, and data types. So we'll learn data types for today for sure. We will learn a couple of functions today for sure. You'll know what they mean. Produce scripts for working with documents. We will learn how to work with Word documents, Excel documents, JSON documents, JavaScript documents, right? We'll learn to work with these documents because many a times you would like to extract data from it and you don't want to do it manually. You want to do it with the help of a program. The beauty of a program is, if well written and is flexible and can be modified in the long run and can be maintained, you can keep improving it, right? That's what it is. Maintenance money, 60% of a project goes into maintenance. Imagine 60% more than what you take to develop. But things have changed over the past decade. Testing has taken a big emphasis, and testing means you test your programs well, and anything that is tested well and has been, sorry about that, and has been tested well will always produce good software. So the cycle goes on. You create something, you test it, you implement it, you find bugs, you reiterate. But if you've done the testing well, the chances of bugs and maintenance is low. That means more productive work has been put into the first phase of programming. And that's how it is, right? So the job is to do it well. That's the bottom line. Do it well, and you will spend less time debugging it if you do it well. Okay? Create programs that utilize object-oriented programming. Now again, object-oriented programming, the emphasis is a little less for you guys, just because it's a little more advanced. So we can, in an intro course, you can only go to a certain level. And if I will introduce you to it, but a second course is what usually takes you into the object-oriented programming paradigm. Design scripts that use regular expressions. We'll talk about regular expressions when the time comes. Describe modules for establishing network connections. A module is basically like a function, like something that can do something. That's what a module is, right? Python programming language comes with some default modules. Already jobs can be done. You don't want to reinvent the wheel. Jobs can already be done, and you will learn how to use those modules so that you can do a job. So if somebody has already written a module for you and it does some jobs for you, why will you do it again? You won't do it again, right? So we will learn how to use modules as time goes on. There again, it's a rich library. It's like going to the library and looking for a book. You won't write a book yourself. You know what I mean? A book is available. You can find information from it. You're not going to sit down and write a book for that. It's already there. So you learn how to use it and install modules and packages. Of course, if you have to use something, you'll have to install it. So as time goes on, if we need a module or a package to be installed, we will just see how it has to be installed and we will install it. So we will learn web scraping. Web scraping means extracting information from the web. We will learn flow control. How to write a program is important. A simple example, how to make coffee if you do it at home and don't go to Tim's to buy it every day. How to make tea. You should know how, and you know the steps to take. You don't reverse them. You don't jumble them up. You take the steps. That's called flow control. How does it flow, right? So if you have an 8 to 11 class in K324 with Anju, you're not going to go to B124 with EM. You know what I mean? So there has to be a control. You have to control the flow so that the program exactly does what it needs to do. So if I say add two numbers, your first job will be to take the two numbers from the user. You can't say the answer is this unless you have the two numbers. So you will take the two numbers, you will then add them, and then you will show the result. So you have to learn how to write the flow. The flow is important. Okay. Image manipulation, because images are everywhere. How do you manipulate them using Python? We will learn that. Automation of networking tasks. That's one of your main course contents that you should know how to automate them. So automate means changing it from manual to automatic, right? So yes, people do lose their jobs, but that doesn't mean that there are no new jobs. So new jobs are created, so people learn to automate things so that they don't have to do it manually. It improves efficiency and it makes work easier and better. So the same job can be done in 1 minute, a job that was taking an hour to do. So that's what automation is. Database connections. A database is nothing but a huge repository of data. So you work with data all the time. I mean, what's a program that just says hello world? Useless, right? So a program will always take some input and always give you some output. So you could be taking data from the user, you could be taking data from a file that you have saved on your computer, you could be taking data from a database, which is basically a huge repository of data. When you go and look for something, when you use search engines, what are you doing? You're searching for something, and that information is kept in a database. So it goes to the database, searches for it, and extracts information from you. So a file is a smaller version of data. A file can contain some amount of data. You can go to huge files. I mean, there is a limit of how much you can save in a box, which is versus how much you can save in a room. That's the difference between a file and a database. And object oriented programming. So again, you will find the flavor. How much can I give you will depend upon how well we can make this class go. But definitely, I promise a class or half a class of object-oriented programming. The evaluation of the course is sitting at tests at 35%. You will definitely have two exams, a midterm and a final exam. You could be having some quizzes that will add to this 35%. Just a quiz on the go. Oh, you have a quiz today, 15 minutes before class, and there is a quiz. And then there will be assignments that are worth 65%. There could be in-class assignments. You have an hour in class. You could have 15 minutes in class, or it could be take-home assignments, which means you take them home, you get a day, 2 days, a week, depending upon the complexity of the assignment, and you do it and you submit it. The bottom line is no plagiarism in my course. If I find you, you're out. It's as simple as that. The rules are strict, and I follow those rules very strictly, whether you like it or not. Right? So that's how it goes. Of course, you can always appeal for a mark in an assignment, a test, an examination. If you're not satisfied, it wasn't marked how I expected it to be marked, I should be getting marked for this or that. You can always appeal. But usually my assignments will be accompanied by a rubric. In rubric, the expectations will be very clear. And so there is hardly ever a chance that I don't think I've ever had an appeal in the 16 years I've been teaching here. Because if your assignments are clear, do this, do this, do this, here is the rubric tells you where you get marks, how you get marks, then there is nothing to lose. You will always have feedback from me. You'll always have a rubric back from me so that you exactly know where and why you lost marks. I take quite a bit of time to mark my assignments and make them. I'm expecting that you learn something from them. Okay. The assignments will not be high-fi professional assignments because that's not what it is. We are still in an educational environment. So there will be, some may be small, some may be big. The aim is to test you on what I'm teaching you, right? So some of them could be foolish. Why is she asking us this? Because I taught it and I would like you to implement it and go a step ahead and do something more with it. Okay, so that's how assignments will work. So that's your course outlines. The syllabus is available. I have made a syllabus to the best of my ability. Since I'm teaching it for the first time, it takes a couple of semesters to kind of finalize it. But I think I know what I want to teach. So I have two sections running, both Tuesdays and Wednesdays. You are section 2. But on Blackboard, you will see it being called Python Programming Section 1. What I've done is I've clubbed both of them together so that I don't have to keep repeating whatever I need to post, whether it's an assignment or whatever, I post it at one place. So you are section 2. If you can't remember your section number, you can remember your day. Wednesday is the day when you see me. Okay, so if there is an announcement for the Tuesday section, it will say only Tuesday. If it is for Wednesday, it will say only Wednesday. If it is a general one, then it's for everybody. Okay, so that's how it works. I teach both classes at 8 a.m. So there is not a chance that you would like to shift classes. Please keep to your own section. Again, emergencies can arise and you would like to change a section for a particular week, but you should be aware that Tuesday is running a section a day ahead of you, right? So if you're missing a class, you basically have to come before that class on the Tuesday before, not the Tuesday after. They are a week ahead of you because I saw them yesterday. The resources, Blackboard is your best friend and my best friend. Anytime I want to talk to you during the week, I can use your emails, which I will avoid unless it is an individual message. Everything will go on Blackboard. So please see that you check your Blackboard daily. All assignments will go on Blackboard. The programs that I'm doing, I'll post them on Blackboard if required, or on GitHub, on a server if required, however it goes. I will be using the ebook, Automate the Boring Stuff. The name is not too bad. It's not boring stuff, but automate the boring stuff doesn't mean the book is boring. It means the boring stuff that we do manually, we learn how to automate it. So it's an ebook. The second one, I think hardly, but I've given it to you because if you want, you can always read 2 books. Nobody stops you. So the Automate the Boring Stuff is a good book. Of course, it's the book I'll be using. Right? So there are a few chapters in here. There are a few chapters in here. We start from 0 and we go on till 18, I think. Yep. So my aim is to go from 0 to 8 and then pick and choose from 11, 12, 13, 14. And if I don't find something here, like I don't find object-oriented here, I'll do it through PowerPoint slides or something. Right? So not all chapters will be covered in their eternity, but 0 to 8, almost they will be covered completely. 11, quite a bit. 12, 13, little bit. 14, more than 12 and 13. And then my own slides as it goes on. So basically, we won't be touching 15, 16, 17, and 18. Okay, we won't be. Again, it's not that who decides what to do. With 14 weeks, somebody has to decide, and that somebody is the teacher decides as to what is more important for the students. But again, I repeat, if I can teach you from A to F, you can learn from A to Z. It's not a big deal at all. Okay, you all learn new languages, you learn something of it, and then with practice, you become more efficient in it. Okay, that's how it will go. So chapter number 0 is not at its best look because they are still kind of under construction. I don't know why they say that, but it talks about what Python is. Who is this book for? It's not for professional programmers. It's a book for introductory programmers, right? Then it talks about what it can do. For example, moving and renaming thousands of files and sorting them into folders, filling out online forms, downloading files, having your computer text you custom notifications, updating Excel worksheets, checking your email. So these are a few, very few tasks that Python can do. But Python can do much, much, much more. As I said, it was a language that we used to teach to our programmers. It didn't start as an object-oriented language, but of course, when object-oriented language came into existence or became popular in the 90s, late 90s, everybody kind of, all languages started piling up object-oriented about it. There's not much difference. The difference is how you package it. So you still learn programming. Procedural programming is just a different way of writing it, and object-oriented is using the same basics to write it a little differently. It's like, for example, wrapping a gift in a wrapping paper. and putting a gift in a bag. That's what it is. Just how you do it. But things haven't changed. Programming hasn't changed. The concepts haven't changed. So it's not difficult. It's just a different mindset. So doing something or watching something is how you can kind of differentiate between the two. In terms of conventions, as I said, this is a beginner's book. We will do some conventions. We will follow some conventions as a class, and we all follow that convention so that I understand what you are saying, you understand what I am saying. But again, we are not trying to be professional programmers here. So we'll make our own coding style and we'll kind of stick to it, and we'll all stick to it so that we all understand each other. What is programming? We all know what is programming. Programming is nothing but a set of instructions that is given to a computer, and the computer just follows those instructions like a dumb machine and does exactly what you tell it to do. It doesn't understand any programming language, whether it be Python, whether it be Java, whether it be C++. It doesn't understand a language. All it understands is machine language, zeros and ones. Machine language is made of zeros and ones because the computer memory is nothing but bits. The smallest unit is bit, and a bit stands for binary digit, a 0 or a 1. So if I say hello, the hello is not saved as HELLO, it is saved as H in a certain code of zeros and ones, E zeros and ones, L zeros and ones, and so on. Numbers the same way, everything same way. So it only understands the machine language, and we can't write machine language. It's too tough to write. Programmers did. In the beginning, they did. And they still do. People who write compilers and interpreters and operating systems are still coding that way. Kind of. They have to understand it, but we don't have to understand it that way. So we have a few languages. Assembly language was more English-like. Java is not very English-like. Python is not English-like. But there are languages that there are system languages. There are low-level languages. There are high-level languages. Python comes in the group of high-level language. High-level language makes it easier for users to learn and puts more work on the computer. So when we write a program, it is converted from Python or Java to machine language by a software program. So somebody has written that software program. Those are called system programmers. And those system programmers write programs like a translator, right? They translate your program in a high-level language to machine language. And these are called compilers or interpreters. These programs are called compilers or interpreters. Difference: compiler will take the whole program, convert it, the whole program into machine language. Interpreter does it one line at a time. So first line, good, works. Second line, oh, error, stops. The compiler will compile the whole program and all the errors will come together. That's the difference. But they're like translators. You can call them translators. So you will have to download Python. You have to download the software for the Python so that you can have that translator or the interpreter, which will take your code, convert it into machine language, and execute it for you and give you the result. Execute means run it for you, do the job for you. So therefore, you need Python on your computers. Right? So this is a small chapter that, and you can write games, you can write Sudoku, you can write a guessing game, you can write anything with Python. It's just a very simple, easy, widespread language. But that again is not what we are aiming at. And as I mentioned, programming is both an art and a science. You have to learn how to do it, how to make it pretty, efficient, best, but the logic must be correct. If it looks beautiful but doesn't do what it is supposed to do, then it's useless, right? So it's both an art and a science. Do you need to be a math major or a physics major? Not at all, right? As long as you know basic math and can understand English and logic and can think logically, which I am hoping you all can, you should be okay with programming. Right? So they've kind of divided the book into parts depending upon the complexity of the chapter. And so part 1, part 2, and so on, it's kind of says, oh, part 1 is kind of elementary. In part 2, we'll go a little further, and so on and so forth. So that's what it is. The main thing now, how do you download and install Python? Very important. You cannot do any class, any assignment unless you have it. The address is right here, but it was also given on my syllabus. So continuing with my syllabus, the resources, my main resource is this. I'm not going to read the chapters for you. You will read the chapter before you come to class, would be a bonus. Whenever you want to read it, it's up to you. But I'll do the stuff in the chapter with you in class. So I'll demonstrate what the chapter says to you so that you can see it. Seeing is believing, right? Doing is practicing. And practicing is what makes you perfect. My syllabus, my name is Anju Chawla. My office is A155. I'm in the B room in that building, in that room. It's the room that is shared by all COM teachers. I'm sure you've been there in your semester one. Ian sits there, your coordinator sits there. Ross, we all are there together. So I'm in that office. My email address is my first name dot last name at georgiancollege.ca. Please feel free to email me anytime you like. You will usually have an answer back from me within one business day, unless it is a weekend and I'm busy with something. My phone and voicemail number is right here. Unfortunately, it's not working right now. I have no clue why. I was off on vacation. I just came back yesterday and it's not working. I've put in a note for it, but you can always contact me by email. I mean, leaving phone messages is not necessary, but it will come in action hopefully by today or tomorrow. My office hours are Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 11 to 11:50. On Wednesdays and Thursdays, I'm busy with classes 6 hours a day. So I teach you from 8 to 11, and then I teach again from 12 to 3. On Thursday, I teach from 8 to 11, and again, I teach from 1 to 4. I don't teach on Mondays and Fridays, so I'm not expected to be here, and I don't want to be here. I want to have my own time marking my assignments and so on. But Tuesday is a good day to catch me. So that I've put an hour every day so that you can come and see me anytime you want. These are open office hours, though an email would be good. Anju, I want to see you. Can I come today? So that if there are a few students coming in, I can always say, oh, today I'm busy, come in tomorrow. Tuesday, I finished at 11 and I don't leave by 3 or 4. So I have 3, 4, 5 hours kind of at my disposal. So email me if you want to see me on a Tuesday. If Tuesday works for you, Tuesday works for me also. But after class, I'm available today for an hour in my office. Tomorrow again, I'm available in my office for an hour. And Tuesday, I'm available in my office for an hour. So anytime you want to walk in, just walk in. Emails will be good. Something is not working for you. Email me and say, can I come this day, this time? And if it works for me, I'm fine. It's not a big deal, right? But Mondays and Fridays, I'll avoid. Unless I have a meeting and I don't have to be in the college, I don't want to come to the college. Expectations of success. The promise is first from me to you. I will be prepared for class. I will provide you good examples. I will encourage and answer your questions. If I don't know answers, which can happen, I'm not God. I'm learning as you learn. Things change every day. I'll try to find out. I will set out clear standards and expectations of my work. Always. This is what I want from you. I'll try to present the course material in an engaging and interesting manner. Otherwise, all of you will get bored. The first hour is boring today. Hopefully, it won't happen in future classes because I have to talk today. I'll reply to you in one business day, and this is our course, right? We work together and we will learn. But definitely, to be successful, I want you to join hands with me. Please attend class regularly. Keep up to your reading. Ask for help as often as you require, not in the 8th week of the semester. I can't help you then. I can't. So as soon as you know you are having difficulties, which you will know within a couple of weeks, start looking for tutors, start looking for my help. We have good tutors around. Review your class notes and material regularly. And it will help you, believe me. As I said, 3 hours in class, 3 outside class, job done. Maybe even less. I'm just saying 3 outside because it's your first programming course. Understand how you learn. Maybe how I teach is not how you learn. Try to see, come around and see, Anju, can you just change this? Can you add this? Can you do this for me? And if I can, I will. Okay. But my aim is to kind of, cater to the maximum class students. I can't teach individually. I cannot. But I'll try my best to cater to your needs if I can accommodate it. Understand how you learn. Practice, practice, and practice. You can't get anything without practicing, guys. This is a programming course. You have to practice to learn it. There is no other way. There is no other way. Live without the use of, think about it. You get better and better as you play a game. So when you buy a new game, whatever it is, you don't know how to do it. But as you play it every day, you get better and better. You understand its nicks and knacks. You understand the tricks, how to do things better. It's the same with programming. If you're passionate about it, you will learn it. If you're not passionate about it, then all you will do is get through the course. Live without the use of your cell phone, Facebook, music player, game center, etc. for 3 hours. That's all I ask for you from you. 3 hours. I'll give you a 20-minute break at kind of middle of the class. So around 9:15 is where I'll give you a break. Right? You have 20 minutes. You can have your breakfast. You can talk. You can listen to music, do whatever. When you come back to class, you are attending the class. Don't talk during my class because it disturbs me and it disturbs the other students. If you don't want to sit in class, you can leave. Attendance is not compulsory. But if you want to learn in class, please respect others and respect me like I respect you. Okay? Include, and the same holds for me. I'm sorry that the alarm went on. I didn't realize that it was on. It was just a medicine alarm. I have to take a medicine at a particular time. So it went on, but my phone will be switched off at all times when I'm in class. The use of the phone is basically for urgent messages. Something can happen. We always keep a phone just in case. But I will be checking my messages and so on during my break time. Otherwise, it just sits here just in case there is something that is really important. Please do the same. Keep your phones with you, but you're not here to play games or listen to music and so on while I'm working. And if you really love your phone and you're not interested in class, please leave my class because that's disrespectful, right? Include a descriptive subject, your full name and use of proper English when you request something via email. So when you are sending me emails, I teach 5 different sections, 100, 200 different students. I have no clue when you say, when is the assignment due? I have no clue who you are. So please say your name. Please say, this is what my question is, and then I'll answer you. If I don't know who you are, I won't answer you. I really won't. I have no clue what are you asking. So I won't answer you. So once, if you let me know who you are, you belong to Wednesday Intro Python. This is my question about assignment 2. What are you trying to ask in this? That's what it is. When an assignment comes up, please give it 10 minutes to go through the assignment to see, oh, I understand what she is asking. If there are any questions, send me an email straight away or come and see me. I will not answer or entertain any questions at 11:59 p.m. when the assignment is due at 12 midnight. I will not. I will not answer any questions after 6:30 in the evening. I'm done at that time. I have my own family time and I'll respect that for me, right? But if an assignment is given and I know questions can come, I'll try my best to answer them during the day. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, I can go. But I'm not answering it on the last day and you're saying, oh, what did you want in question number 1? Because you chose to do the assignment on the last day in the last hour. I won't help you out. Otherwise, I'll help you out whenever you want. But of course, please have fun in my course. The thing is, the more fun you have, the better you learn. The evaluation is same. It's already in your course outlines. Assignments and tests will usually be submitted via Blackboard. If there is anything else, you will know. All how to do, what to do, when is it due, everything will come with the assignment. No late assignments will be accepted. There are no late assignments. A due date is a due date. There is no penalty. It's a 0. I'm not accepting late assignments. But having said that, again, if there is an emergency, there is something that you know much ahead of time when the assignment was given, you can always come and talk to me and say, Anju, this is what is the problem. If there is an in-class assignment, I can't attend the Wednesday class or something like that. Or can you give me 1 day extension? I have to be in the hospital or whatever. But if I know beforehand, yes. If you're saying, oh, it's due tomorrow and today you're saying, oh, I couldn't do it, I was busy with work, that's not my problem. Right? If work is important, so is class important. So is an assignment important. You make money from work, you make marks from an assignment. Please be sure that you know and are aware of the policies about plagiarism in the college. It is taken very seriously, very seriously. Please do not help your friends in terms of giving your work, sharing your work, showing your answers, giving your output, nothing. You can answer questions, but the questions you have to know your limit. You're not helping in doing the assignment, you're helping in understanding the assignment. Oh, shall I use a loop here? Yeah, use a loop here, it will work. That's it. What do you think I should do? What should be the flow? Do this, do this, do this. That's it. If you want to help. So you have to know your limits. The person who helps, the person who takes helps, both get penalized the same way. Please don't share your passwords of your Blackboard or anything with your friends. Change your passwords if you haven't from your regular one, your birth date or whatever. Hopefully you have. You're in semester 2 now. You are responsible to take care of your work. You just can't say, oh, he had my password, he's my friend, he had my password and he took it. Nope. You will be blamed too, right? So it's up to you. Keep up to your reading. The more you read, the more lab work you do, you will find the course really easy. So what I've done here is I've broken up the book chapters into 14 weeks. 2 weeks I've only said midterm exam and final exam, but it may happen that the midterm exam is only 2 hours and I'll do an hour of teaching. Depends on what we'll do. I usually like to do hands-on exams. Hands-on means you do a program because that's practice. You've done it, so you know what to do. But depends. Maybe it's multiple choice, maybe it's short answers. We will do it. We'll come to it when we will cross the bridge when we come to it. It will depend how we are working in the first 6 weeks of the semester. So it's written here, and of course the sequence and the content of the syllabus may change due to unanticipated opportunities, any challenges that I have to accommodate your learning styles. It could be anything. And during your semester, if I need to show your work to the class, or if we want to showcase it to other students, we want to put it in our college magazine or whatever. If you have any problems about that, please let me know in advance. There is a form that you fill up and you submit it and you say, keep me out of everything. And personally to me, if you would like to say, oh, please don't talk about me in class at all, whether my work is good or bad, really doesn't matter. Don't appreciate me in class even. I don't like it. I don't want to be pointed out in class. Let me know and I won't do it. Sometimes students really do good work and I try to give their example in class so that people can learn. But if you don't like it, you don't like it. Okay. So that's the syllabus. It is up on Blackboard. If things change, I will let you know. And the last but the most important, please, before we start working on examples today, which is maybe after a short break we have, you should have Python already installed on your laptops. You will go to downloads. The latest version of Python is 3.6.5 and it's right here, right? So I'm choosing 3.6.5. That's the version I have. That's the latest version. If you go to download from here, you will notice that they are different for different users. So if you are a Windows user, if you are a Mac user, Linux, Unix, or others, it's all here. From this files, if you are a Windows user, which I am, you can choose the installer, the executable installer, which is basically an executable file, or you can choose a zip file because then you will have to unzip it. So whatever you like. But if you are, which I'm assuming, if you are a 64-bit user, you will pick up the 64-bit files, right? If the one that was the default one that comes up when you go to downloads, it is a 32-bit installer. So all of us, I'm hoping we have 64 bits. What is the 64-bit machine that we got? It is the address bus, right? The size of the address bus. What is an address bus? The address bus is the address of the memory word that you want to access. So the bigger the bus, you can access bigger memory, right? Because you can have more passengers on your bus. So the memory is bigger. You have a bigger memory, you need a bigger address bus. So we used to have 32-bit memory addresses, 32-bit address buses. Then the memory was small. But now, as we know, RAM is increasing, and so is the bus size. So we are I have a 64-bit machine. I'm assuming all of you have 64-bit machine. So you would go with x86 Windows if you're a Windows user. For Mac, I leave it to you because I'm not a Mac user. I'm a Windows user and I have Windows 7 on my machine. Unfortunately, that's what it comes from the college. I can create a virtual machine with Windows 10 and make Python run in it. I just don't choose to because there's not much difference, right? So I'm still sitting on Windows 7, but it makes no difference in the programs I write. I'm assuming all of you have Windows 10 on your machine. So from here, choose the one that makes the most sense to you. I went with the Windows x86 executable installer, and it is an exe file. Notice it is an exe file, and all you do is save this file, and once you save it, you double click on it. It is an executable file, extension exe. It will run and installation will start. For me, because I've already installed it, when I run it, it will say, oh, do you want to repair it or something? So definitely I won't go through it. So I made a mistake of getting the 32-bit without even looking at it. So when I run this file, it is an executable file, you run it. And since I already have it installed, it is saying, do you want to modify something? Do you want to uninstall your Python or do you want to repair it? Of course, I'm okay, so I won't do anything. For you, you will have an install saying install. And remember, there will be a small checkbox here which will say add it to the path. Please see that you check that box, and that has already been mentioned on Blackboard. If you forget to do it, it's not a huge thing. I'll tell you how to do it manually afterwards. What is a path? A path is a variable in our system. They're called system variables. It's a system variable path, and it has the directories that you would like to use by default. Right? So if I have Java installed and I know Java is installed in a particular directory, I'll say, oh, include it in my path so that I can run it on command line. So if I open my command window, familiar with the command window, right? Old DOS users, old days. And I've already installed Python, and Python is sitting somewhere. I don't know where, but it is sitting somewhere. I can run Python right from my command line. Right? So why is this happening? Because I've included Python in my path in my environment variables. Where do you find these path variables? If you, I'm hoping you are aware of this. If not, ask me. So under your computer properties, under your advanced system settings, you will notice that you have environment variables. Why are they called environment variables? Because they're setting the environment of your machine, right? There is a variable called path here. Right? This is a path variable. So notice how if, because I want to use Java, I have included that I will be using Java in my, from the command line. So anything that you want to use from the command line. So somewhere here, because I said, when you install Python, please put it in my path. It should be somewhere in my path. Oh, there it is. Do you notice? See there, C backs, that has been included by default in my path. Now, if you've already installed Python and you forgot to check that checkbox, then you will have to put this by default. You will have to do it manually in your environment variables. And how do you do it? It is as simple as this. You will open this window, you will go to your path, you will edit it, and either at the front or the end, really doesn't matter. You can go at the front or you can go at the end. If you go at the end, put a semicolon and then copy that directory. And the directory is C:\Python34. That's the usual default. C:\Python34. You will notice this directory on your C drive after you have installed it. Add this to your path variable either in the beginning or the end or anywhere in between, as long as you put a semicolon between the two. So I put it at the end, I put a semicolon at the end, and then I included it. If you put it in the beginning, put it in the beginning and then put a semicolon after it. Semicolon is just the separator, right? So since when I installed it, I already said put it in my path variable, so it already did. I don't have to do it. But if you forgot to do it, all you have to do is open the properties of your computer, go to your environment variables, look for the path variable under system variables, pick it up, edit it, and put this anywhere inside that path, right? Wherever. Front and end is easy. Putting it in between is a little difficult. So if you put it in the front, put it and then put a semicolon after it to separate it. If you're putting it at the end, then put a semicolon before it to separate it before the last. That's all you have to do. Once you do that, you can now run Python from the command line. You can now run Python from, and you can test it. Since I was able to run it from here, that means my Python can be run from command line. You can run your Python programs in two ways. You can run it on command line, which I'll show you how to do. And you can also run it using IDLE. IDLE is Integrated Development Environment, right? It is an integrated environment, and you can type your program and you can just click on a button to run it. So you don't have to do a lot. Here, you just have to give a command, and that command is not tough at all. It's called Python, and then the name of the file you want to execute. So I'll show you both things. You should know how to learn. You should know how to do things on the command line. You should know how to use IDLE. So once you install Python, and you also have it on your path, I'll just cancel everything so that in case I did something. Then you should all be able to open your IDLE from your, just say IDLE, and there it is, IDLE Python. Notice you should have this in your, after you've installed it. Click on it, a Python shell will open up. It's called a shell. It's an interactive shell. Interactive means, notice these three arrows. I can do something like this here. 2 + 3 is 5. I can do small things, right? I can print a message on the screen. Now, print is a function in Python. It does a job. And as the name suggests, it will print something on the screen. Oh, single quotes. And notice, as soon as I said print, notice that help came up. Help said start with an opening bracket, give it a value. Now, what is this value? I am giving text in it. That's a value. So anything in quotes is a string, is a text, right? And I do an enter and it will print hello on the screen. So what are these other parameters? Separator, sep is separator, end, file, flush. We will learn. When we learn more of the print function, we will learn. So the name of the function is print. The parameters come in parentheses. Notice there is an opening bracket, the round bracket, they are called parentheses, and there is an end one at the end. And then it has some parameters. These are called parameters. A function could have 0, 1, 2, 3, as many number of parameters. And they come in a particular sequence. The ... says you can have more than one values to print. I can print more than one values. So I can say hello plus something, and so on. Though the plus is not the mathematical plus, but we learn about it, right? So you can always look at help and say, oh, this is how I use a function. So you will learn how to use functions today, right? So you will learn. So this is called the interactive shell. Notice how it says shell at the top in that green status up at the title bar. So this is a shell. It is an interactive shell. You say something, it will give you an answer. You do something, it will show you. So it is an interactive shell. But of course, we won't work with the shell a lot because we don't want to keep talking to it. We will learn how to write a program, set of instructions that we can save and reuse when we come next and make changes. So we will learn how to do that. It's very easy. To open an editor window, you go to File, you go New File, and an editor window will come up. Now you can start typing your program here. Once you have typed your program, all you will have to do is you will have to click on the Run button and the program will run. It will be interpreted, translated from Python to machine language,
If there are errors, it will tell you there is an error and it won't run after that particular line. Otherwise, it will run. The expectation from you is when you submit an assignment to me, if it runs, I'll give you marks for it, depending upon if your answers are right or wrong. But if it does not run, it is a 0. I'm not going to check why is it not running. It's your job. You're giving me something that doesn't work. Why would I spend time looking at it? You understand, right? It's a program. So if a car starts, you go to your destination. If a car does not start, you don't go to your destination. You can. And that's the same with me. You give me a program, the program should run error-free. If it runs, then I start marking it. Oh, have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done this? I give you marks for whatever you've done. If your program doesn't run, it gives me an error. It's a 0. I'm not giving you any marks. I'm not going to search where you went wrong. That's not my job. That's your job. But that doesn't mean, oh, what do I do? Ask for help. You're trying things, you're stuck somewhere, come and look, come to me, Google, ask a friend, what am I stuck, what am I doing wrong? Can you look at my program? What am I doing wrong? Oh, there is something wrong on line 11. That's the only help you give your friend. You don't say, oh, this is wrong, change this, write this instead. That's not the help you say. You say you're going wrong here. That's the help you can give. Know your limits. Otherwise, both of you or all of you, whoever is concerned, is it? Or you can always come to me. I'm always ready to help. But you can't learn through emails. Please keep in mind. Anju, I'm getting an error on line 11. I'm not going to take your program, run it on my computer and say, oh, this is what is wrong. Come to me. It will take 5 minutes to find out what the problem is. If you can't devote 5 minutes to me or 10 minutes to me, take a 0. Okay? So I'll help you. I will help you. I promise to help you. I will, throughout the semester, I'll be there. If you make the effort to come and ask for help. Otherwise, I just know you by your face. I don't know you as a person. So I would like to know you as a student, as a person, so that we can work together. Okay? But don't ever bug me. Don't come on my bad side. No cheating, no plagiarism, no lying. Be honest and everything is fine. Do your work and I'm ready to help. Okay? So we will learn how to do this once we take a break and you come back. So this is Python. So while we are on break, if you haven't installed Python, please see that you install Python and you're ready to work with me after a 20-minute break. So it's 9:15 now. We will meet again at 9:35 and I'll start to do Python with you. My aim is to do some interactive Python today using the shell and then writing a small program with you before you leave class today. Any questions for me? Are we going okay? Everything clear? Good. Take a break. Take a 20-minute break. 9:35, you should be back. So you're trying to install Python for 64-bit machine, not the 32-bit machine.
I took 2 classes of Java on high school. That's it. The other reason I got so high mark is my teacher would make bets. And he'd sit there and he shows you like, here's this really hard code that only some of you can understand, but I'm going to teach you really simple code. But if you figure out the hard code, you get 100% on this thing, no matter what, even if it barely runs. If you figure it out, you get 100%. And I just worked my ass off and trying to get 100%.
I didn't know how to print for it, so I failed the class. Yeah, yeah.
Feels good to be back in code. Reminds me of my
Like turning 27 with that, like turning 2 experience. Oh man, it's old.
I've never even heard of
I don't know.
for some reason. It's not. It feels like now it's supposed to be space. Oh, is it like Java and everything in this is not. This. Oh. At the very end. Very It turned into a roll. You should go. It's so weird. Never been. This needs to be read, or can't be read. There you go.
Obviously, but as I think it,
Yeah.
and anything except
The idea was, my friends might
Java's the exact same.
you know, at that point, those are a key relationship. There was an idea that died. And I got this stuff here. It's a few years old now, but. It's actually considered to be desktop replacement. So. Yeah.
Don't touch the blue, it says. Just like Tron, not Snake.
The limitation. It's like they're more than- as long as you operate an airplane.
Not bad.
I think both of them started it.
Yeah, that's what you had to do in Java.
So it's funny here. She's like, oh yeah.
Bigger. Gives you more room. You do know that you're supposed to stay along for as long as possible, right? Watching like that
Snakes super fast.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest thing. The Russian guys.
was watching it just like film the square.
Like,
It's like the default kind of VMware. It's just like, this is a mistake I made on the Windows Server and stuff. Mistake by default, it's like, that's for that, for whatever reason. Installs it on the slow drive. And then it's, I only use one processor.
Don't blow up.
So it's SSD going SSD. SSD is like all the difference. Oh no, it's off. See, the reason for the SSD and the terabyte drive is like, okay, so you can run the program, go on it. And then
I know a person who makes this. What do they mean?
You don't want to spend all that money on SSD because you're
Usually we go for some.
You're gonna keep some names on it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, well, that's what it is.
You said you would put it on.
That's what actually
Have
nice.
some people who are sitting there staring. You know, it's funny, like, it's just because you want to smoke.
I'm really pretty good with that. I'm just sitting here holding my breath and just like shaking and control.
Sometimes I think
Just picks up mud, puts them there.
Just
yeah, I'm gonna should get the one terabyte.
yeah.
What is it?
No, really? I had no idea.
Wait, no, exactly. It's there.
Yeah, because
Right.
it's trying to
This
well,
symbol code.
it's still $400 on eBay. Yeah, well, there you go. It's $400 on, but like you can get it. Yeah, it's one of those.
Yeah, it's the plan is the most like.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can get it. Yeah. It's pretty cheap. But you know, it's like max sequential read, 3,500 megs. Max sequential write, 2,100. We're going off for that. That's just bandwidth, that's like insane. So that way, if I load something
No,
in
no,
there, I
I haven't
know
bought
it's not
any.
the drive.
Kidding me?
It's my 4.8
I was genuinely gonna ask you if you wanted to split it.
Well,
Oh, I need the final app.
six 650 for 12.
Oh, right.
Let's put the 8,700. Plus, the sales is a big difference, but that's a few generations back, and that's not even. Let's get finding like an office, but like storage of all.
Oh my god, I told my dad about it when he bought it. And I
Well,
just used
yeah,
his fucking
especially
camera.
if Ken's in the other timetable.
Yeah, there's a used one for fucking 15.
Yeah, I don't remember which one we chose, but we chose the other one to Ken. Well, actually, what happened was I saw him on the phone, they were discussing it, and I said, well, I'm gonna take this time, I'm just gonna try this off. And then he went, "Well, you're good," I'm like, "Well, you're done."
Because when you told me which one you were going to take, I just assumed you were taking.
Yeah, so actually what we lost was all the Ukrainians and Israelis. That's they put together the other one. So, I don't know, it's a 3-day weekend every weekend. It's tough to beat. I get like a Wednesday off. There was no one with
I
that.
wanted to accept it.
Well, it's like your whole, like, 2 days on, 2 days on.
Or how about this? How about this? Let's go to a different perspective. It's like, hey, let's all go on like a 3-day adventure. The way you can. And we can even get,
Depends on when the.
you can even get back late on the 4th day because we have most of Monday off.
When the hatch lasts.
I think it's at the end of the day on Friday.
Oh, that is.
So when you're looking at it, it's like it's late, right? Because they had 3 early days. It's like a Monday, Tuesday, and a Thursday.
How are you already in there?
Yeah, they had 3 early days, you only had 2 early days. But Ken liked that, he's like, I wake up early anyway, okay, whatever. But they had less late days. I forget what it was exactly, yeah, because it wasn't like.
Oh, yeah.
Like one on Friday, it was like Tuesday, like a 12 to 6, or 3 to 6.
Where'd you find it?
They went to 3 to 6.
Really?
I think it's on.
You were both graduating.
I mean, this way, you know, you can leave class on like Thursday night, which is like, so I'm just gonna like book it up at the cottage. It's like drive up Thursday night,
Do I have one?
miss all the traffic, and then, relax, and actually come back. I don't have to leave until Monday. So I get like, I get home Friday, I'm tired, Sunday, I'm fresh this morning, look over the lake.
Yeah, I'll
And
take
then I'm
it.
gonna work my way back. Right, I mean, that's tough to do.
Yeah,
Because I've got extra control here. I bring all my schoolwork with me everywhere. Because you know, reading a book in front of the water is better than reading a book in the basement.
Whoa. That was very loud.
Besides, my wife plans on seeing all of this.
Sounds kind of sound like a robot.
She doesn't have anything to do with baby. Her entire life is here. So take care of the thing that cries, it screams. So you can just go to help her almost the entire day. It's like,
You're still in there?
it's just like, I'm doing this for you too, it's if you get better sleep. Don't bring me into this.
They told me this still works.
I canceled it.
Nice try. You feel guilty.
Yeah.
Man, the 2 terabytes Samsung drive.
That deal shop, I just saved so much money. That's why I
$1,600.
but I had it for 10 just sleep.
You know, we should do. We should save more of that dirty oil money. Bought like 2 of these drives, and then randomly like covering 0. Double it. Like,
I sort of wish I had.
like you actually drop the 7 gig file in a second.
I was thinking about that actually, yeah.
It's just like the server. Yeah, I remember that.
I'm fucking hot.
Basically,
I actually kind of wanted to know.
Yeah, the next thing you have to replace is with the motherboard.
yeah, for the next town, we'll always do something big.
So it's like, I got it for my previous computer to my parents, basically. They wanted me to change it to the computer.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask them. Yeah, I set this up to do it automatically.
That was at 16
Just the
gigs of
routers. Yeah, just the routers. No, we're doing new stuff with the routers there as well.
I like that. So those things are like, when you got it, you don't know. And it's fun, but still, it's not fun.
I never really noticed.
it's just it really depends on how many things that have opens.
I don't have any of those problems.
So there you
I'll be more mad
go.
at it and say,
I was trying to get this stupid line of code to work. That's all I'm trying to do. It's literally like it prints, hello sir, who are you? And then you print your name. It's like, well, hello there.
You load up a game. So
For some reason, it doesn't want to work. No, I'm using certain lines of code.
But it puts you load a new level. A lot of times when you load up a program, it's say like.
I'm pretty sure it does Windows down correctly.
And a lot of times it's swapped with yeah. And when you load up start the mission, it's swapped with much as you can. So instead of loading from the hard drive, which is what it is. So
I like a really small,
my buddy, yes. He plays a lot of Skyrim. He was like, yeah, you know, maybe we should play Skyrim.
Yeah.
And so like, a statue of the like I load up my movies, but I don't have, I don't get to see like, I just like you take flashes of cloaking and it's gone. I don't even know how to that make. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. So like when he was telling me about these things, I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. It's just like instantaneous. Apparently, in like the concept version, it's just I just never get to see it. I walked the door, she's like, how do you find it?
It's because I used to be a big trader.
I don't know these guys. I just wander around
Good
the
trader.
trail. There's like,
Oh, you have used?
like I can know it's happening.
Plus rat, very good trader.
But even then,
Plus rat.
like I said, there's just easy roads. So I don't actually see.
I'm scared of.
Sometimes I see like a flash.
I want to see what my friends commented on my profile.
I have to
She's like,
No, my profile's fairly private.
I don't recall any of the times.
It's my own profile, and I can't look
I
at
was just somebody calling me cheap.
Everything's good.
But I'm not cheap.
If you have a PC, because you have more hardware, just like it's swapped on
it. Why isn't it not letting me check my own profile?
Because I explored the entire map in one shot, so
Jesus. I need a photo of a buddy from when you used to play around.
I'd be like, no, not the first day.
I'm gonna change it to
That,
the God of War.
finish the second area, and that's more of the third area. She's like
Which just makes it feel
high rate, it's like,
yeah.
still a low time in that. Actually, I got those ones.
Yeah.
Those ones cheer me up.
It's not like it's going to kind of a better go off.
Yes, sir. The sun on the first year. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to just touch him with that face.
No, I got the dicks.
I like how it
And I failed the course.
Oh my god.
I know, but it's just faces on
No, so it's just like, well, that's.
Very simple.
So like, it's Jennifer and
basically destroyed all of
so I got my pictures. And then
you right, all only tease like every other freaking. They only tease like Egyptian gods.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, like, yeah, every time. So like, serious.
One of the gods.
We're gonna be like just randomly something that's like for the standard dialogue. I'm like,
I know they're going to say there's like a theory that great notice is the sort of
So that makes me feel bad as I'm playing hard. Like, start
Victorious is lucky.
the other one instead. This doesn't bother me sometimes. So like, give the fish
But the reason why it's the world surface is there is because something happened.
But I try that's what the problem is. I don't know what it is. So I was like, okay, this is so how many hours I put on that.
Like it's basically
Yeah, but I think the other one, the dog.
Like how he's smart.
So if you look at both,
And he just dies.
so it's trying to get rid of one. Rubbing my nose all the time.
He's just gonna find the wolf.
It's like this.
That's gonna be like
It's real, it's sell
What
it.
a fucking debate. Like,
Hey, you see the stuff? Say that to her.
yeah.
Say that to her.
No one plays the word. He just killed two mistakes.
ठीक है फिर मैं भी बात करती हूँ ठीक ओके टेक केयर बाय
Oh, I have all this.
And then they got.
Okay, so let's start. Let's do a few things on the interactive shell first, right? And then we'll write our first program. So I'm trying to do things that will help you to write the program. So that way you've seen them. So when you write the program, you'll say, oh, that's making sense. Okay. Okay, so I showed you a small example where I did a little bit of math. I did a 2 plus 3, which all of us know is 5. So the plus is available. So is the multiplication available. Right, so is the modulus available. I'm not sure if you know what modulus is, but I will explain if you don't. And I'm leaving space between the operators. So 12 and 5 are called operands. You're operating on them, and the plus or the multiplication sign or the percentage sign are called operators. So there are 5 operators in math that you can work with, of which you'll be familiar with most of them. So that's the addition, right? That's the subtraction. There are 2 divisions. You have a division with 2 slashes and you have a division with 1 slash. I'll just show you the difference. And then there is the percentage. So these are the mathematical, arithmetic operators that are available in Python. The plus adds them, the multiplication multiplies them, the modulus gives the remainder. So when you divide 12 by 5, what are you left with is the modulus operator. It's called the modulus operator, right? And the difference between the 2 slashes, let me show it to you. Oops, sorry, wrong. The double one, notice the double one. I've used the double one here. Again, it's not necessary to leave a space before and after the operators, but it makes it a little easy to read. So when I divide 7 by 2, you will, like we say, oh, it's a 3.5, right? But this double slash is called an integer division. So what does integer division do? The integer division will divide and it will truncate, remove the fractional part. That's what it does, right? That's what it does. This is called the integer division. So the integer division, if it was 16 divided by 2, the answer is 8. That's perfectly fine. But if I try to do 7 divided by 2, the answer should be 3.5, but you see an answer of 3. Right? So that's the integer division. Now let's try this. Let's try the single one. This is called the real division, right? The floating real division. So when I divide 7 by 2, and I say 7/2, the division operator, the answer is 3.5. If I say 16 divided by 2, which is an 8, the answer is written as 8.0. That is a real number. So let's talk about numbers now, since we are talking numbers. There are 2 kinds of numbers in Python. One integers and one real or float, they are called. They're called float numbers. An integer is a whole number. It can be positive or negative, but it is a whole number. It cannot have a fractional part. And it has a range. You can go from a minimum to a maximum. You needn't remember that range, but it is a huge range, right? If you want to look up what is the range of integers in Python, Google it and see. It could be something like 32767 to 32768. It will be a huge range. Depends upon how many bits are given to it. What space does it get? On the other hand, there is another kind of number in Python which is called a float, which we call real numbers in our life. A real number or a float is a number that can be either positive or negative, but has a fractional part. So that fractional part, so when you use the slash, it says, oh, she wants me to do a real division. The answer is 8, but it writes it like an 8.0, right? So to human beings, 8 and 8.0 is no different. But for a computer, these are two different set of numbers. How it manipulates integers and how it saves integers in memory is very different from how it works with integers and saves them in memory. You've done math for computer industry in your first year. Remember how floating point representation, the IEEE, was different from representing an integer. They are two different things. So they are very different for the computer. So keep that in mind, right? Now, if I try to do something like this, it really doesn't matter. If I try to do something like this, I say a 16.0, which now becomes a real number. 16.0 is a real number. And I try to divide it by 2. Let's use the double first. By 2.0. So I have both my operands. 16.0 and 2.0 are both floats. But because I have used the double, it's just saying, oh, you gave me a float, I will give you a float as an answer. Then it just ignores it. Right? So you have to be a little careful of how it works. Right? So when you do a double, it does an integer division in 7 by 2. But when you changed your operands, you made your operands real, then it said you're working with apple and apple, I'll give you an apple. Then it didn't say, oh, the double one was an integer division. So be careful of these things. You'll say, what's the big deal? They become a big deal when you write programs, right? So these are two types of numbers: integers, floats, positive and negative, has a fractional part, does not have a fractional part. And these are the mathematical operators that are available. The plus, the minus can work both on reals, and floats and integers. The 2 slashes is for integer division. The single slash is for float. The modulus works only on integers, if I'm not mistaken. But I'll give it a try. Though I don't think so, but I can give it a try. Different languages are different, okay? It's giving a 0.5. So it is working with floating numbers also. 16.5 divided by 2, the remainder is 0.5. So you can always check, right? It's not a big deal. You don't have to memorize anything in programming. You can always check your answers. That's the best part about programming. So that's the modulus operator. So the two data types that you've learned, the data type is number. It's called numeric. But the two flavors are float and integers. The second data type is the string data type in Python. What is a string? Anything in single quotes is a string. Doesn't matter what it is. So this is a string. It's not a number. 2 in quotes is not a number. It is a string. So if I try to do this, I say 2 plus 3. I'll get an error. I got an error. What did it say? It said you're trying to add a string, Anju. Like you can assume 2 is not 2, it is a string. With 3, which is a number, I can do that. I'm not that silly. And it says I can do it. And look at the error it gave. Sometimes the errors will make sense, sometimes they won't. Here it's not telling you it's not giving you a lot of information. But if you kind of read that information, it says type error. It's a type error. Must be str, not int. So it says that when you're trying to add a string, you can only add a string to a string. You'll say, but how do you add a string to a string? You can add only numbers. Fortunately or unfortunately, whatever you would like to call it, you can do this. You can take a string, like my name. You can add another string, CHAWLA, to it. And it will just append it. So this plus, you've seen another plus now. So these were your arithmetic operators. AO stands for arithmetic operators. You've seen another plus, which is very odd. Human beings, we don't see this plus. This is called the concatenation operator. You are concatenating, you are joining two strings. So you can use the plus to join two strings, and the join only means placing one after another, appending it, adding it at the end. And exactly like I did it. Anju was written and then Chawla had no blank or anything. So Chawla was copied. If there was a blank before the C, then the blank will also be a part of the answer. So you can concatenate two strings. This is called concatenation of strings. And this concept, for your information, is called overloading. The plus is overloaded. It has a meaning. It has more than one meaning. Therefore, it is called an overloaded operator. Just as the plus, there is another overloaded operator, the multiplication operator. What does it do? It replicates. So the AA is written 5 times. A, it is written 5 times. I could change it. I could say A blank, and now multiply it 5 times. And it will be exactly that. That will make it blank. So the first A, this is part number 1. Right? A blank, then part number 2, part number 3. So you can use the multiplication operator, and it is again overloaded with a string. But the rule is simple. The first must be a string. The second must be a number. You can't do anything else. You can't do this. You can't say, oh, multiply AA with BB. That won't work. It doesn't work. It's only for replication. The second operand must be an integer. Must be an integer. It must be an integer. Though we say, oh, 2.5 times something, we say 4 times something. Human beings can say 10 times, 5.5 times, but here you can only use an integer. So the plus operator is called the concatenation operator, and it is also called the addition operator. The multiplication operator is called the multiplication operator and the times operator, or the replicating operator for strings. And both these operators are overloaded. Okay, so you've seen 2 data types now. We'll call it 3 data types because we'll differentiate. We have seen the string data type. Anything in single quotes is a string. We've seen the int data type. Any whole number, positive or negative, but within a range. And that range we will double check. Every language has a different name. Is an int. They're called ints. And any number plus or minus with the fractional part, even if that fractional part is a 0.0, is a float number. Okay? So these are the 3 data types in Python. Nothing else. Nothing else. You don't need anything else. So if I wanted to find out, just for information, not that you can do it, if you wanted to find out, oh, what is the range of integers? If it doesn't have a range, then
yeah, because it's not a predefined constant in Python. It's not like it's a 16-bit int. It's just that it continues to assign additional bits depending on the size.
To filling on the size? Okay. So we have some information here which says maximum and minimum values. What are the maximum and minimum values in Python? For example, in Java we have and min and so on.
Yeah, just keeps assigning bits. So you can use up your entire system.
Entire system? Okay.
Incredibly large integer.
It could be anything then. Here it says in Python 2 it has a long. So in Python 2 there was a size, it says. So we can kind of look at answers. We can go to its own documents and see if there is something in it. You can always go to it, but that's how you will find out. They're talking about some range also. So these are functions. There is an int function, which is not what we are looking for. We are not looking for an int function. I'll tell you what an int function is. We are looking for the int data type. Let's try this. So we'll talk about mappings and classes and so on afterwards. The basic data types is what we are talking about. Does it say anything about truth value, numeric types? Numeric types. There are three distinct: integers, floating point numbers, and complex numbers. We haven't even talked about complex. Does it talk about something like? And it supports mixed arithmetic. Mixed means one can be float, one can be integer. And I'll show you what it means. And here are some examples, okay, of the operators we were talking about. Okay, doesn't say a lot. I can see it on front, but I'll look it up afterwards. So mixed operator type is this. Just what mixed means is this. So example, I can say 6.0 plus 2. This is called a mixed expression. So I took a float, which is a 6.0. I took an integer, which is a 2. Notice the result. So the 2 is the narrower type. Narrower means, I mean, you can kind of think of a smaller type. So it's called a narrower, and float is called a broader type, right? So what does it do? Whenever it sees a mixed expression, it takes the narrower type and changes it into a broader type and then gives the answer in the broader type. That's what it works with, okay? But again, we cannot add a string and a number. Either we can concatenate two strings or we can add two numbers, okay? We can't mix and match. So what can we do now? Let's see. Okay, so if I wanted to now use, so you've seen the print function. Now I want to show you three more functions: the int function, the float function, and the string function. Okay, so if I take a string function, that's the name of the function, str string, and I want to convert 12 into a string. 12 is an integer. This is what it becomes. The 12 is converted into a string, right? You can convert anything into a string. Uh-oh, now what does it say? It says Q23 is not defined. So it says when you want to convert something into a string, it has to be a number. Otherwise, Q2W3 automatically is a string. What are you trying to convert to a string? Make sense? So sometimes the errors will make sense and sometimes it won't. To me, it makes sense just because I've done programming a little. That's why. And it says it's a name error. It says that's not a name. What are you trying to convert to a string? And Q2W3 is a string already. So what are you trying to do? So when you use the string function, it will be usually on a number. Not usually, it will be on a number. Oh, where am I? I hate this when I can't copy and I took a floating point number and I converted it, and there it becomes a 12.5. So that's how you convert a number to a string. You will say, why would I like to do that? I'll tell you why would you like to do that when we write a program. Let's do the opposite. Let's use the int function. If I want to convert something into an integer, something. Now that something, if I'm trying to convert AA into an int, that can be done because AA is not an int. But if I try to convert the string 12 into an int, that's relevant and it will convert it. So again, the int function takes its argument or its parameter or whatever have you given it. It's called argument. We call them parameters when we define them. When we give it a value, we call it an argument. So it takes its argument 12, string 12, and converts it into an integer. Your question will again be, why and where do I need it? We will look at it, okay? Similarly, if I want to convert something to a float, that should be a number again. 12 becomes a 12.0. But if you try to convert AA into a float, it will come up with an error, right? So conversions are possible, but all conversions cannot be done. Only logical conversions can be done. So we can convert from one to the other, right? We know this now. So we know 4 functions. We know the print function, we know the string function, we know the int and the float function. Another useful thing I would like to kind of talk about, variables. Every language will need to store or save values somewhere, like you do. You put your laptop in a laptop bag, you save it. You put your shoes in your shoe bag or maybe in a shoe rack. You put your books in a bag. So you put things somewhere, right? And all of you have a name. All of you have a name, which I'll try to learn 5 per day. Okay. So we all have a name and we are recognized by that name. That's how you recognize it. I say chair and all of you know what a chair is. Now in computers, information has to be saved somewhere. It's not flying in the air. The computer has a memory. And if you want to put something into the memory, it gets space in the memory. And that space has an address. Now, for human beings, that address is very difficult to kind of memorize or remember. Oh, it is at address 1279. Like, who will remember 1279? It's too tough. So what do human beings do? What do programmers do? Programmers create variables or names for their boxes. Like you have a name, I'll also create names for my boxes. So I'll call a box number 1. I'll call another box result. I'll call another box answer. I'll give names that make sense. Your parents didn't call you A, B, C, D, E, F. So I won't call my variables A, B, C, D, D, F. I'll give them good names. And what is the use of variables or these boxes? You can kind of think of them as memory boxes. They're boxes in memory. If now I want to put something in that box, so I add 2 plus 3 and I want to put it in that box so that I can use it afterwards. Otherwise it is lost. I say 2 plus 3, it says 5, it's gone. If I wanted to work with that 5 and multiply by 10, what do? Do I write it again? 2 plus 5 into 3 and so on? I don't want to do that. So how do we define or declare variables in Python and says, this is a variable? This is how you do it. You can define a variable, give it a good, proper name. That's how you decide what you want to keep in it. And 2, there are rules. The name of a variable can have a letter, like your names can have letters. It can have a number, 0 to 9. Your names cannot have numbers. It can have the underscore. Your names can have blanks. Anju blank Chawla, O Brian with an apostrophe. And it cannot start with a number. Remember those rules. The name can have numbers, digits, underscore, and cannot start with a number. So when it saw this Q2W3, it thought it was the name of somebody. And therefore it gave you a name error. It said, oh, I don't know who this is, right? So let's try to make a variable. Let me call that variable number 1. I'm creating a variable called number 1 and I'm assigning it. This is the assignment operator, giving a value, not equal. Don't call it equal, call it assign. Because equal is something else also. Equal means equality, right? We'll call it assignment operator. Assignment operator works from right to left. Right to left means it will pick up 5 first and it will put it into the box called number 1. And now for future, I can use this variable number 1. I can use it like this. I can say take number 1 and multiply it by 2. My result will be 10. Now I can use number 1. That's the usage of a variable. Why is it called variable? Because it varies. Now, Python is case sensitive. You have a variable number 1, but it says, I don't know what number 1 is. What is the difference? There's a capital N. So Python is case sensitive. Human beings, we don't think about it a lot. I say Anju, I don't say A capital NJU. You know what I mean? We don't worry a lot unless, of course, we're writing an English grammar essay. But otherwise, we don't worry. But Python is case sensitive. Of course, spellings also matter. I can't misspell it because I made a mistake. Number 1 didn't have a 2 M's. So spelling mistakes are not done. It will say, I can't find this name. And look at the type of the error it is telling you. It's calling the error name error. Name error means what? There is an error in the name. And it is case sensitive. You have to remember these 2 things. Okay? Now, if I wanted to get some other kind of error, I'm just showing it to you. If I try to divide 3 by 0, division by 0, I get a 0 division error. Notice the name of the error. Can you divide a number by 0? No. So learn to also see these error names. If you can figure out good, can figure out, Google it. Okay? So errors will come up. Sometimes the names are good enough. Human beings say, oh, dividing by 0 is infinity. In math, we say if you divide by 0, it is infinity. But the poor computer has no clue of infinities. So it will give you a division by 0 error. Java has something, but we'll leave it alone. Python, as we saw, doesn't have anything, right? So now you know what a name is, what a variable is. But unfortunately, I say unfortunately because I'm a hardcore programmer and I'm a strict hardcore programmer. The same number 1 that you had used to put 5 in, now you can put a string inside it. Okay, I forgot something. I forgot my assignment operator. Python is a loosely typed language. The same box can be used for anything. Like a little silly for me. Why? In a bottle, you can put water, but if it's liquid, right? It's a water bottle. You don't want to put a book inside it, like silly example, like or a tissue inside it. You could, but you don't. That's not what it was made for. Shoe boxes were made for shoes. Laptop bags were made for laptops. But that's what it is. So Python is a loosely typed language. Its type is loose. I can use the same box to put a number. I change my mind. I'm lazy. I don't want to create a new box. I don't need the previous one. Its job is done. I can put something else in it. I change my mind again. I put a float in it. And as I change it, its contents are changing. Right? Now it has a number 2.5. It doesn't have Anju and it doesn't have 5. Now most recent it has 2.5. So Python variables have to be named according to rules. Letters, digits, underscore. What is this underscore? Sometimes you would like to give a name like this. Differentiated. Kind of call it number 1. Sometimes names are long. And long names, if I don't put any hashes underscore in it, and I give it a long name, it's kind of difficult to. Now, most of us will say that's the last class. But if names are something that you are just writing for yourself, the smallest number, the biggest number, it will take so much time to kind of figure out what you called it. But if I had called it the underscore last underscore class, then it was okay, right? So therefore, that is the use of underscores. That is the use of underscores. Now, can I name something like this? Names cannot start with a digit. So the rules are letters, digits cannot start with a digit and underscore. Can you remember those simple rules to name a variable? These are called variables. You can think of variables as boxes. And it is loosely typed. And it is case sensitive. All this information keep in your head. So now we know what a variable is, right? Let's look at another function. Suppose I wanted to ask a question of you. I want to ask you, what's your name? Right? So let's try that. So I can say print, and I can say, what is your name? Oh God, this interactive, I hate it. Anyway, we'll be soon out of it. And I couldn't find a way of copying the previous one. Okay, that comes on the screen. Good enough. But it didn't wait for my answer. It just said, what is your name? But what do I want? I want to ask, what is your name? I want to take your name from you and maybe put it in a box for future. And what is that box? My memory, so that I can call you the next time I see you. Right? So print does what you tell it to do. Just prints it on the screen. That's all it does. Let's try more prints and see if I want to print something like Anju. I'm going to concatenate it with Chawla and I'm going to put a blank so that it comes out pretty and nice. That works. Print just prints. What about this? And tell me if there is an error I'm making. It says Anju, okay. But that plus is concatenation. You have a string and you're concatenating 3 with it. I can do that. In printing, it wants everything to be a string. It wants everything. It can only print strings, or it can do this. Oh. Or it can do this. It can print the value of a variable. So let's say hello. I'll do a plus, and what was the most recent variable I created? Anybody remember? The last class. There was a variable the last class. Please see the difference between hello, which is a string and it is in single quotes, and the variable the last class. It is the name of a variable. It says trace back. It says the last class. Okay, it's a variable, but that's an int. I still can't do it. I need a string to be concatenated with the string. I can only print strings, nothing else. What do you think I can do? Help me. You've learned a function just to do it. Take your last class and convert it into a string. Now it will really say, oh, now I know what you want to do. And hello, the word hello and the one converted into a string and put on the screen. So another thing to keep in mind, print requires everything to be a string. If it is a variable and the variable contains an integer or a float, you will have to convert it into a string. Okay, so keep that with string. Now let's come back to what I was saying. I would like to know your name and save it somewhere because I need it again maybe to say hello to you. Print doesn't do that job. All print does, it puts the question on the screen. Where is the answer? I want to take input from you. So there is a function called input. I'm just writing it without anything right now. Notice what it is doing? It's waiting for some input. Do you see this cursor? Can you see this cursor on my screen? So I'm going to say AA. I'm going to give my input. I took it. And that AA was also echoed out. It said, I took AA from you, and it echoed it out. Do you notice something? The AA is printed with the quotes. Anything that you read using the input function is assumed to be a string, even if it is a number. It becomes a string. So the function input takes no arguments. I didn't give it anything, only the opening and the closing bracket. And it returns a string. What does it return? What does it give back? It returns a string. So a function has a name. A function takes arguments 0 or more, and a function has a return type. That return type could be nothing too. Returns nothing. Right? Now, that is okay. It was blinking. I gave it something. But wouldn't this be better? Oh, definitely better. Now there is a question. What is your name? So that means input function can take a parameter. It can take a string from you. So you may or may not give it a string. So now it makes more sense to me. I say Anju. So keep in mind, when you are asking something from the user, please see there is a proper prompt. What is your name? What is your age? What's your semester number? Where do you live? Don't just say input and keep sitting. Okay, so you gave, the question was asked. I gave an answer. Where is the answer? Gone, air. I didn't save it somewhere. So let's save it in a variable called name. I could have saved it in any variable. I'm going to save it in a variable name. Why did I use that variable? Because it's a good name. It's a good one. Oh God. Anyway, there. My spelling of what is wrong, but there it is. What is your name? I say Anju again. I don't have to put anything in quotes or nothing. It is assumed to be string. Now, where has this Anju gone? It has gone in the variable called name. I assigned it. Do you want to look at it? There it has it. So taking input And not doing anything with it is again useless. So when you take input, save it somewhere, because the main purpose of taking input is you're going to use it. If you're going to use it, put it somewhere. Make sense? So we've learned a few things. We've learned the print function, the input function, the int function, the string function, the float function, how to name variables, what are the different types in Python, and so on. And all this is interactive and too tough. Keep typing, and keep typing. But we know a few things. Now we are ready to write our first program, and we have enough time to do it. Okay, now start. Any questions before I start writing my first program? Anything that was not clear here? Any function that didn't make sense to you? We've talked about arithmetic operators. We've talked about loaded operators. This is called the interactive shell, as you can guess, interaction. And therefore, I have to type it every time. Okay, I can do the same thing on my command line also, actually. Notice there are three here also. When you start Python, try Python. I can quit it also. Quit is a function that is available, or exit, I forget. Quit, okay. So start Python, open your command window. Start Python. As soon as you start Python, the interactive shell starts. So whatever you've been doing there, you can do it here also. So there are two ways of using the interactive shell. One, using that GUI, graphical user interface, which we like. At least your generation likes. I think every generation likes, because we see things. And this is the old way of working. I call it old, but it is, many people still use it because they find it quicker. But this is what we used when we were students. The command line arguments, the command window we call, and it was, the operating system was called DOS, right? So I'm a DOS user. My first operating system was the DOS. DOS changed into Windows, but that's what it was. Disk operating system, I think it was called. Okay, so you can do things that you did there, you can do it here also. If I try to give a print without anything, you will get an empty line. I didn't give it any argument, you get an empty line. So whatever you were doing on that interactive shell, you can do it here. When you want to quit it, you go quit, and it is a function, and you can quit. And you're back to your prompt, your normal command prompt. So you know how to work in the interactive shell in two ways. One, using your idle, the interactive environment, and one in the command window by running Python. Anytime you need help, I think you go help, I forget what. Yeah, see here. So anytime you need help, you can go help, and here are the commands. It says, oh, what do you need help on? Do you need help on the break statement? Do you need help on the call statement? Do you need help on the clear the screen? I know what CLS is. We all know what CLS is, clear screen. But if you don't, you can say help me on CLS. Is that an S? Yes, it is. It clears the screen. So try CLS here. The screen is cleared. We can always look for commands. But of course, you'll say, how do I know? Google. Everybody learns to Google, right? We all know, thank God. There were no search engines 30 years back when I was a student. No search engines. And now you have search engines on your tips. Please utilize them. You will learn a lot out of them. Let's see if we can do a CLS here. If it is a command, it should work here also. No, it doesn't. Okay, well, so CLS is only for the command window. There should be something here, and I don't know. I can try clear. No, I can try CLS as a function. No, so I don't know. I'll have to Google it. It worked there. CLS worked there. It didn't work here. Clear isn't working. I can't think of anything else. I can try quit here maybe. Let's see what quit does. Your program is still running. Do you want to kill it? Okay, at least I know what quit means, right? So quit is working, but the CLS is not working. So I can again do help here. Oh, it says type help with a, it's a function. Okay, so here is help. Welcome to whatever help utility. If this is your first time using Python, you can always go to help here too. I can go to Python docs right from here. But this is Python help. I'm trying to look for idles help. I want to see how to clean the idle window, right? Which idle is not Python. Idle is just an editor. So Python is Python, but idle is just giving you a GUI to work with Python. Okay. So I don't think I will find it here, but if I see something like idle or about this, I don't know. Do I see a search? I see a search. Clear the idle shell. Okay, so there is a 2.5 idle. Python 3 extended, what's new glossary. Let's try this. I don't know. It's not telling me anything. I don't think I will find anything. What's new glossary, programming frequently, what's new in Python. That's what it gave me when I said shell. What did it do? It looked for anything that had idle or had the word shell, and that's what it did. That's what it does. That's what search does. You know that, right? That shell kind of looks, unless you put it in quotes, it will then exactly look for that. I mean, they're frequently asked questions, but that's it. So I don't know. What will I do? Google it and see how to clear an idle window. CLS didn't work, clear didn't work. I can't think of anything else. So if it didn't work, it didn't work. And that's why I hate the idle window. And we won't be using it a lot, so that's okay too. Okay, now let's write our first program. How do we write our programs? Go to File, go to New File. A window will open. This is called the editor window. Notice how it says untitled. We will start writing our comments. There is a configure idle here. I'm going to increase 18 is good enough. But this is all for the editor. Okay, no big deal. Okay, I would like you always to comment your code. At the minimum, I want your name, your date, the date, not your date, the date, is it May 9th? Yes, and the purpose. Correct English, please. Okay, notice how each line is starting with a hash symbol. The hash symbol in Python is used for commenting. Anything that starts with a hash and whatever follows it, it's a line comment. So you have to put it in every line. Anything that starts with a hash and till the end of the line is a comment, completely ignored by the interpreter or the translator. You'll say, then why am I even writing it? You're writing it because all programmers, all excellent programmers write comments in their code to memorize, to keep in mind what did they do 10 years back. I may look at this program after 10 years and say, what did I do in it? I don't understand it. And remember, programs are not 10 lines of code. Programs are thousands and thousands of lines of code. So comments are put for programmers, not for users, for programmers. I understand you, you understand me. You go to a new company, you look at somebody else's program, you understand it. You leave a company, somebody comes in and understands what you have done. So comments are required in code. They are a necessity. If you hate them, don't write them, I'll give you a 0. But I will always require comments in my code. I don't want you to write a comment for each and every line, but maybe in the beginning programs, I will. But then as I know, oh, I won't say adding 2 numbers, subtracting 2 numbers. We can avoid that. But every program will have your name, the date, and the purpose of the script at the head of your script, always. And the purpose is not saying, Anju told me to do this, or assignment 1. Purpose is what is the script doing. Okay, so these are called comments in Python. Okay, so let's now accept the user's name. Why am I writing a comment again? Because I'm trying to write my first program and I'm telling you what I'm trying to do. Okay, what do we need? How do I take the user's name? Which function do I need?
I need input.
You need input. And we will save it somewhere in a variable, right? So accept the user's name and store or assign to variable name. I'm trying to use my words, store, assign, variable, so that you get into the knack of it. Hopefully, right? Because I'm hoping you're new. Many of you are new and many of you already know things. So people who know stuff, bear with me, please. You have to. There is no option. So take your variable on the left-hand side, put the assignment operator, use the input function. Please give a good prompt sign. You notice how it says prompt is equal to none, and this marks preceding arguments as positional only. We'll talk about it. Read a string from the standard input. The trailing new line is stripped. So whatever you give as input, and when you enter, the enter is lost. The rest of it becomes your input. Okay, that's what it means by trailing new line is stripped. It is removed. So what is your name? That's the question I ask. I leave a blank to make it neater, and there I go. Once I have the name from the user, I want to print a welcome message. Which function do I need to print a welcome message? Somewhere here. Let's see an answer from here. What function do I need to display a message on the screen? Print. Thank you. Let's print. I want you to be awake in my class. You can't sleep, right? So let's print. Let's say hello, because it is a string. I'll put a blank and I'll concatenate it with the name. Keep in mind, let's put a note here. I can put my comments anywhere. I'll put a note here just to show you. You can put a comment anywhere you like. Input function returns a string. Keep that in mind. Don't forget, it returns a string. It doesn't return anything else. Anything you enter, whether it is a name, whether it is a number, it is a string. And therefore, very easily I can do this. I don't have to do anything because name is a string, hello is a string, print takes strings. Let's save this. Do a Control S, and now the important thing. Please put your programs, or please save your programs somewhere where you can find them. For example, for me, I have a directory called Python on my courses, which I'm doing. And I'm saying program 718. I'll do something else here. I'll create a new folder. I'll call that folder's programs 7S18, and I'll kind of say Wednesday here, just to keep it separate from the Tuesday section. I would highly recommend that you create a directory called Python programs or something which makes sense on your C drive or wherever you like, but make it. You can even further divide it into or subdivide it into week 1, week 2, week 3, and so on. And I'll tell you the reason in a minute. Why am I emphasizing it? Because you need to find it when you run it. So if you don't know where you kept it and you just kept it on the desktop, as thousands of you do, then you're going to be in trouble, right? So create a directory, give it a good name, something that you can remember, put it on the C drive because it's the easiest to put, or put it wherever you like it. We will need it in 5 minutes. I am going to call this program 1. So that I know this was the first program I did. I can put a date if I like. I'm not putting dates because I'm not too good with it. And I'm going to call it program 1 greet. So I know that it was a greeting program. So program 1, so that I can remember this was the first program I did on Wednesday with my Wednesday section. And greet because it's a greeting program that I did. Okay. And I'm going to save it. And you don't have to give any extension. By default, they are saved as .py. If you were using Notepad, for example, instead of idle, please see that the extension of your program is .py. There is a pyw, I forget the difference. I can't recollect it because it's been 10 years since I taught Python. I forget, but it will come back. When it does, it does. If it doesn't, Google. Okay, so the program is saved now. Simple. All you have to do is run it. Go to the run option and say run module. F5. Remember the key F5. And it starts. You're back in the shell. Notice the question, what is your name? That's why I was trying to clean it. Somehow I can't. Anyway, I'll try it in the program and see. Clear screen or something. Maybe it's clear screen. Anyway, what is your name? I'm going to say Anju. And it says, hello, Anju. It exactly does what I told it to do. If you want to run it again, there is another way of cleaning this, which I'll say restart shell, which I didn't want to. Oh, okay, doesn't help a lot. I wish I could. Okay, I give up.
There's no way to clear the.
There's no way to clear this?
No.
Okay, thanks for that information.
Exit out of it and reopen it.
Yeah, that's one way, but I mean, that's too much work. Okay, if I can find a command to do a clear screen here, that will help too. If I can find a command here to clear the screen, that will help too, because I'll be usually writing programs, right? So the shell one, I'm not so bothered because I'm not going to go to the interactive shell to do things. But if I can find something here, then maybe, I don't know, let's try it. Do you want to try it? What's the big deal? Let's try it here. The CLS was available, though I doubt it. Let's save it. Let's run it. If I have an error, which I have, it says, So see, it is an interpreter. It stopped right at the CLS statement. It didn't go further. So I was trying to see if CLS would work here. We will find out. Somebody will find out for sure, but it is not working. So let's accept it for now. Okay, one job done. You know how to take input from the user. You know how to save it. You know how to print it. Let's ask another question. I want to know the age of my user. Now you needn't kind of say and store it to the variable age. I mean, you can kind of start for the first program. I'm kind of writing everything, but you don't have to tell me and store it in age. You know what I mean? Like I'm showing you, I'm getting you into the habit of writing comments, but you can just say accept the age or ask for the age. That is more than enough. So we'll take the age variable. We will assign it and we will do an input. You can take the same input from here, though it's cheating, but anyway. Right? So age is a string variable, keep that in mind. I'm going to do a print again. And notice how I'm writing everything from line number 1, from column number 1. It's very untidy, but I'll tell you the reason. Indentation is important in Python. Indentation has a use in Python. There is a rule of how to use indentation in Python. So we have to be careful. We'll come to it. So I'm going to say whoever that person is this many years old. So I'll have to put is, then I have to put a plus again. Then I'll have to put her age or his age. Then I'll have to put, we'll get better, don't worry. It will say whoever is this years old. Expecting it to run properly? You can make mistakes. Try to make a mistake here. Remove this bracket of print hello and see how it runs. Save it. Always save it. Run it. Otherwise it will ask you. Source must be saved. That's what it is. See, it stopped right here. So it said, it took your name, like it was going through it. It said, but I got a problem here. So you can go back to this window, your shell window, or here itself. It's just saying it here. I thought it would say it there, but it's saying it right here. It says invalid syntax. Why is it saying invalid syntax at age? The problem is in the line before age. So again, be careful. The line that is being highlighted may not be the erroneous line because it found a problem here. So usually it will be in the line before it. Why? Because when it came to this line, it found something odd. Okay. Okay. So now let's see if this runs. Save it and run it. So what is your name? AA is my name. What is your age? My age is 12. AA is 12 years old. Good enough. Works. Let's go back. Now, I just want to take the age and increment it for whatever reason. So I take the age variable and I assign the old value of age and add 5 to it. So the assignment operator, the right hand side happens first. So I take the original age, I add 5 to it, and I put it back in age. Do you think it will work? Or have I made a mistake? Should work. I just added 5 to age. But what is the type of age? Ah, it's a string. Age is a string. Right? Age is a string. You said, oh, it's a number I gave. But remember that number is a string. So let's try that. So I go, so it's working. It will stop at the point it gets the problem. That's the interpreter, okay? It says type error. It says it must be a string, not an int. You can't add a number to a string, but that's what you want. You want to add 5. So what should I do? Int for age. Okay, so we need to use int for age. Your name? Min. M-I-N? Okay. NH. Min. Okay. So he says you can do that. So what is the answer? The answer is I can take this age, I can convert it into an int, and I can put it back in age. Now my age becomes what kind of variable? It has changed from a string to a integer. Loosely typed language. Confusing, but that's what it is. Sometimes it is a better, now this is only one line. This is only one line, but usually if you take input and after that you want to deal with it like a number, not once, but 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, it is a better practice. It is a better practice to change type of age if you want to do math with it. It is a better practice. So what I'll do is I'll take age and I'll convert it into an int and I'll put it back in it. I've done it one-time job. I've done a one-time job. You could have left age alone and you could have taken a new variable called new age. You can even do that. You'll say, I'll keep the age as a string. Let it be left as a string because I want to keep it as a string. Or a better practice is that if you would like to change the type of age, if you want to do it, do math with it. So that's a better practice. Change it and put it back in it. Or use a new variable. Whatever you like. Sometimes you want to keep that age. So I can do this. I can say new age. So both, whatever you like, whatever makes sense to you. Or of course, Min is right too. He could have done it just in this one line. That was the only line that needed it. But I am only saying that if you have to kind of use it over and over again, I would just change it. And don't do both of them. Of course, use one of them. So use either. So I'll comment out one. So choose whatever. But both are possible. And of course, this is also possible. What Min said was also possible. I mean, there's nothing wrong in it. Absolutely nothing wrong in it. He can take the age or you can do it this way. Like this way. You can do it this way. So whatever works. So all 3 will work. But of course, you're not going to write all 3. You will choose one of them. Choose whatever you like. So I can convert age into int and put it in age. The same variable now becomes from string becomes an integer. I can convert it into an int and put it in a new variable, and I keep my age for whatever purpose I have a new int. So you need both of them. You need both of them, so you've kept them at two places. Or you just need it in one statement, so you don't bother. You just convert it in one. So either or any of the three will work. So now I want to now print the new age. So I take my print again. I just say now, just to tell you that I've incremented, and let's see what happens now. So I took the age, I knew it was a string, I converted it into an int, not to a float. I wouldn't like to convert my age into a float, though it won't matter, but it doesn't make sense. Ages, we usually work in ints. I added 5 to it, I put it back in age, and now I'm printing it. Let's save it, and let's run it, F5. Okay, so what's your name? What's your age? I again have an error. Now what is the error? Now the error is, I listen to min, I convert it into an int, but now my age is an int, and now here I can't print it. What will I have to do here? I'll have to put it back into a string. Only then will it print. So here. So the solution, which is the best solution, really depends upon the application you are in, right? So here we did it once and then back. What I was saying was, keep it in a new variable. When you need the new one or the old one, do it that. But once you do the math, you may still have to convert it into string. So which solution do I choose is the question. It will depend upon what you're trying to do. If I needed that age as an integer and I had to use it 10 times in my code, I would definitely put it in a variable and use it. Why? Because I won't keep doing int age 10 times in my code. I don't want to. Because calling a function itself is taking time. It takes time. It's an overhead. Function is called, job is done, answer goes back. The printing is only done once at the end. Okay, we'll convert it into a string when everything is done. So you could have done, if age was being used over and over again as a number, I would convert it, put it in age itself, not even create a new variable if I didn't want to. Put it in a new variable or put it in the same variable, do the math with it, whatever you wanted to do with it. At the end, if I wanted to print it, I would just convert it into a string and put it back. Okay, so here remember to convert it back into string. And let's save it and let's run it. And hopefully we should be okay this time. So what's your name? My name is AA. I am 12 years old. Now I'm 17. The program works. Whatever you've done works. Very small, silly program, but you know how to write a program now. You know what comments are. You've used the input function. You've used the print function. You've used the int function. You've used the string function. You know what can match, what cannot match. You've used the plus option. And you run the game. You found errors. You were hopefully able to interpret the errors. You rectified them. So when you give your assignment, I don't want to see any errors. Till wherever it runs, I'll give you marks. You asked my name and it asks my name, there will be a mark for you. After that, nothing, 0. I didn't see anything. I can only give you marks for what I see. I can give you marks for what I can see. You know what I mean? So give me a running program, I give you marks. Give me a program that runs till point A, will get point A, point B, point B, C, D, and W. Okay. Now, idle is good enough. Easy, type it in, run, F5, done, finished. But how do I run the same program on the command line? Is my biggest question. And I want to show you how this is important. You should learn how. Find out where did you save that program. So I know where I saved it. So I saved it here. Right? I'll copy this directly. This is where I'm saving my program. Therefore, I told you to save it on the C drive because the name is short. You don't even have to go and look for it. You can say C / Python programs / and the name of your program. My work is more, my laptop is more of a mess. So I It's in a different place, but I know there it is. It's right there. Okay. Now what will I do? I'll go to the command line. I will run the Python command. I'm going to run the python.exe. I'm going to run my program. Which program do I want to run? I want to run the program1_greet.py. That's the program I want to run. Where is that program residing? In that directory. So give the command Python. Python is the command to run the program. Which program do you want to run? Do a right click with your mouse and do a paste. So now here is where my program resides. In C, users, A Chawla, documents, courses, Python, program files, whatever, and I'm still not done. And my program was called program one something. I can say PR and I can click the tab key. Still not working. What was it called? It was called program one. Why is my tab key not working? That's really strange. program1_greet.py. I have to give the full path name of the program I want to run. So on the command line, you say Python because you're running the runner, the executor. So that executor is called Python. And which program do you want to run? You want to run your program1_greet.py, but you have to give the complete path of that program. And it would exactly run like it was running, hopefully, fingers crossed. I don't know why my tab wasn't working, but anyway. Can't open file, this, no such file or directory. Now, what does that mean? Because there is a blank in it, do you think? I thought we were gone by that. I don't think, unless it's creating, that's the only thing I can think of. But you can put blanks in your file names now. Oh, it is open in another program. What? Why is it not running? Control S. C users, A Chawla, documents, courses, Python, programs, S18, Wednesday, program 1, greet Y. It's exactly here where it should be. I'm going to close this. My only thing is, which should not happen at all, but maybe it's on the command line. I'm going to just change this to, it's still saying something. Something is not behaving as it should. Okay, I'm going to give it one last try. And it's not a big deal at all, but it's saying that the directory doesn't exist. Control C. Okay, I'm going to open my command window. I'm going to go, Python is already in my, spaces are allowed in directory names long back. In DOS, they were not allowed. / program 1 greet. No, something is not wrong. Something is not right. This is strange. Cannot open file, this, no such file or directory. It says I can't even open it. Okay, I'm going to try something else, okay? Bear with me. I'm going to change to that directory and see if I can go to that directory. Oh, it still has a blank in it. And I changed that blank. No, I didn't. Okay, let's try. Okay, so I'm in that directory now. So the directory does exist. That's strange. It's working this way. I changed to that particular directory. So notice how I changed it. I said cd to change directory. I went to that particular directory where my programs are residing. Maybe that's how it will work instead of that way. Once I'm in that directory, I gave my Python command again. I said Python and I gave the name of my program. Right? So it's not working by giving the path name after Python, but it should work this way. Let's try it. There. What is your name? What's your age? There. Okay, so try it this way, though I don't know, it doesn't make sense. So I came to the command prompt and I did a CD. CD stands for change directory. And after change directory, I did a right click and I pasted the name of the directory where I wanted to go, where my programs are residing. There is where my programs are residing. Users, HR, documents, courses, this. I went to that directory. And then I gave my normal command Python. That's the command to run it. There is no doubt about that. And the easy part is, since I know it started with a P program, I called it, you just say PR or something and do a tab. It will complete it. It will complete it on its own and then run it. And then go ahead and run it as if you were running it. Okay? So this is how you run it on the command line. So what did I do? I did a CD to change the directory, right? After that, I did a right click and I did a paste and went to the directory where I have saved my programs. Once I am in that directory, I went Python and I ran my Python program and it will run. Got it? So this should have worked. I'm not sure why it didn't, but that's how you run on command line. So all I did was I kind of just came around it. See, now I've removed it from here. I don't know what's happening, but something was not right, whatever it was. So here it is, programs S18 Wednesday. So here is where I put the program. What is the shortcut doing here? With me? Everybody with me? So you were able to run your program in idle in the environment. You know how to use the interactive shell in the environment and also the interactive shell on the command line. We learned how to do that on the command line. Plus, you were able to run, guys, please. You were able to run your program in idle, and you're also able to run your program on the command. Please try all these things before you come to class next week. Okay? So we've done chapters 0 and 1 for your information. That's what I've covered today from your book. Read the chapters, give it a reading. It won't even take you an hour. It's an easy book. You don't have to buy it even. No money spent. 1 hour. Go through the program. Try to make changes. Do a little more things. And then if you have any questions, come back and ask me next time. Okay? Are we good for today then? Good. That takes care of the class then. Thank you for your patience.